Hello and welcome to your favorite show, Mukami. And today I'm handling a very interesting topic on handouts. Gonya Gonya. That's what some of you are calling it. Well, it's a topic that was highlighted by the media last week, 13th July. And it has continued to draw mixed reactions from Kenyans up to now. The reason as to why I'm very interested in this topic is because of its destructive nature. Handouts. It's a debatable subject with many arguing for and others against. But from where I sit, it's something that we need to get rid of as a community so that we can progress. But first, before even we go further, we should ask ourselves, why do people go for handouts? Why are handouts so attractive to people, especially Kenyans? And one of the major reasons that I can point out, it's because people want something to feed their families. People do not have money. So the underlying factor is poverty. So for them to address the issue that is in their homestead, like how to feed my child, how to take my child to school, how to go to hospital, and they don't have any means of getting an income, then the handout becomes a reasonable way to them. But how sustainable is it? How far can we go with handouts? No? From where I sit, I think we should just come up with solutions that will help deter such acts in our society. First of all, we should even ask ourselves, between rights and between handouts, which one should you as a citizen go for? Which is more important, to know your rights or to get handouts? Nowadays, if you're involved in politics, many people will say, like, you have no time to do. But I want to give you the value of being engaged, actively engaged in issues of politics and governance. When a citizenry is engaged in such issues, he or she is able to make the leaders who are in authority to put in mind their views and opinions on the laws and policies that shape the development of a community or of a nation. Citizen participations in matters of governance and politics will ensure that you have a people-centered development in our country and in our nation. And that is beneficial to me as a common man, to me as an ordinary Kenyan. Other than just, assuming that politicians or leaders should be the one who are formulating policies that govern how our day-to-day life goes. No, I should be able to come up as an ordinary Kenyan, give my views. If it's on the construction of a certain school or a health center in your location, before it's built, the leader should be able to consult the common man to understand their fears, their challenges, their wants for this particular project, so that when it comes up, then the citizens themselves can own up. And also, we also need leaders who come up with initiatives that help eradicate poverty, because handouts at no time will it ever be a solution to poverty. We need successful poverty eradication programs that will empower the common man, especially the vulnerable groups of women, children, and the youth. Handouts will not. Why should we give our votes to leaders who do not represent us? So that should be a question when you're going to vote. We have a full chapter on the integrity of the leaders we elect in public office. Go and read about it. What does it say of the kind of leaders that we should elect in office? Leaders should be held accountable by their constituents. A constituent should be able to ask his or her own MP, what have you done with my constituency development fund? Where is that hospital that is meant to help the community? Where is the school? Where is the road? When we start the culture of asking questions to our politicians, then we will get involved in the politics, and when they are formulating the public policy on poverty eradication, our views will be heard and we will become the beneficiaries of it all. You should realize that development is inclusive. And it's inclusive especially if the poor person back at the grassroots level is able to utter a word or an opinion that will shape how his life or how politics affect his life. For example, what would it profit you if a certain leader or a charitable organization comes to your area and hands out cash, for example, $10 or $20? That cash, you will only use it for so long. How long can you use that cash for? We need sustainable development initiatives in our counties, in our country, and I'm so happy because President Uhuru Kenyatta is looking at leaving a legacy with a Big Four agenda, which we hope, if well implemented, can impact millions of Kenyans across board. But what we need to do as citizens is also air our views. What do you feel about housing? Should these houses be built for police? Give your views. Should this particular road be built here? Give your views. Make your views known. Should we construct a certain school? That's the kind of views we need from the citizens, so that it can guide the lawmakers when they are formulating policies to do with poverty eradication, to do with the development of our nation. There are some governors really who've come up so much, and they're really empowering their citizens. For example, is the Makueni governor, Kivutha Kibwana. And the reason that he can pinpoint and say, hey, this is the impact I've done for my community, is because of citizen participation. The government also needs to empower citizens on the need for citizen participation in development. We should not always sit down and say, oh, I'm waiting for so-and-so to come and do this. No. In that your little simple way, what can you do to help improve the standards of living in our country or in your community? There's just so much we can do. Let us not leave everything to politicians, to our members of parliament, to our governors. No. Most of them fail us, and they are likely to fail us going forward. But what can you as a person do to change how you live? First of all, your vote matters. Your vote is your most important, valuable item that one can have. And your vote can change a lot. Elect leaders who are driven by the kind of value and interest they add to the common man. Not because of how much the person has poured in terms of money during the campaign period, how much the person has given the youth in terms of handouts. No. Let's also hold our leaders accountable. Let's get leaders who are in authority to bring development to our communities, to our societies, so that we as taxpayers can feel that, oh, of course, our livelihoods have really improved. Handouts makes you a slave to the person who gave you the handout, especially the politician. The politician will demand a vote from you in exchange of his small handouts. And for 5 years, you will not see that politician in your area. You will look for him, you will call him, he will not respond because he got what he wanted, but you did not get what you wanted, because your vote is your voice, and it really counts in how you take charge of your life. The Big Four agenda by President Uhuru Kenyatta is meant to impact millions of Kenyans in many years to come. But how effective will this be if we continue rely on handouts, if we cannot think on our behalf, if we expect leaders to speak on our behalf? We need to make our voice known. Let's promote citizen participation in issues of governance. Remember, when you're voting, vote in valuable leaders. Check their manifestos. What do the manifestos talk about? Improvement of your life as a common man. And above all, let's get structured mechanisms in place to ensure that the citizens, that we create awareness amongst citizens on why it's important for their voice to be heard in terms of national development. Well, that's my view on today's topic on handouts, and I would be very glad to hear what you think about Gonya. And of course, all you need to do is to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel Mukami Show, and also click on alert notifications. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you on our next show.